Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and I am back with a new Grade This Book 2 video, and before to start with the prompts which I create in this video, I will show you 3 prompts which I created previously, but I unfortunately lost the footage of the recordings, for which I was quite sad, but now I am over it. So let's get into this video's prompts. I also will spoiler a little bit this video, and I will tell you that 2 of the 3 prompts will be a little bit interactive, which I am very proud of and I really like how they turned out. So the first prompt was create a puzzle, turn this page into a puzzle. Initially for this spread I wanted to create a typical puzzle, creating an illustration, but then I remembered that I created a little game with my students based on a poem. The idea is that you take a half of an A4 size paper which you cut in half vertically, you fold the paper in 3 sections, and where the folds join together you draw a tulip. After that you open the top fold of the paper and you complete the bottom half of the tulip to create the pepper. After that you open the bottom fold of the paper and you complete the illustration with the character. The idea is when you have the paper opened, you have a character with a hat. If you fold down the top of the paper, you will have the character with a crown. The crown will be the top part of the tulip, and when you fold up the bottom part of the paper, you will get the tulip as initially you had it. So at the end you will get some kind of puzzle which you get different things while you are saying the poem. I hope that makes sense, my explication. If not, you will see at the end when I glue everything in the book. That will have more sense probably. Because I am using a printer paper, I decided that I will use some colored pencils for the entire illustration, but in the meantime I also use some black fine liners for the outline. The color pencil which I am using are the Staedtler Designer Journey 24 color pencil set, which is a more stationary color pencils, so the layering it's a little bit time consuming when you need to color an entire illustration with them. And I wanted to use color pencils because the printer paper is not the most thicker paper, and because I am drawing and coloring on both sides of the paper, I didn't want to show through the art supplies on the other side of the paper. At the end I also used some black and white gouache for the background. I also created on a separate sheet of paper a frame where I wrote down the poem, which is in Hungarian, and I glued everything in the book and I really like how it turned out. The next prompt was create an assortment, fill in each box with something different. When I saw this prompt, the first thing which came in my mind was windows. Windows for a building. And I was excited for this prompt too because I knew that I can make it a little bit interactive as well, to make a few of the windows to open and close. So I copied each box on a separate sheet of paper and I drew 2 buildings and I illustrated some characters in some of the windows. When I had the final sketch for the buildings, I created the line art with a black fine liner, and I used for this one watercolor to color the illustrations. I tried to use a limited color palette to tie everything together, and after I colored in the both of the sheets with the buildings, I felt that something is missing, so I painted with a darker blue some bricks on the walls of the buildings. After I painted everything, I folded the windows which are closing and opening and I glued them in the book. I really love how this turned out and I think that it's one of my favorites, and this is why I like to create these prompts in the book, because I create some stuff that I wouldn't illustrate normally by myself. The third and the final prompt for this video is create word illustration. Incorporate illustration into a word to show its meaning. Example, write the word hot and add flames to the lettering. I had a lot of ideas for this one, but I settled to write honey and create the letters with some drips and paint it like honey. And to make it extra, I also drew around the letters some bees and some leaves, and the other side of the spread I decided that I will draw a bear who is eating some honey. Initially I wanted to create this spread interactive as well, but I changed my mind because I didn't want to complicate things and I wanted to edit this video as soon as possible. I created the line art with the black fine liner, after that I painted the illustration with watercolors, and at the end, here and there, I added some shading with the same Staedtler color pencils. Initially this spread looked to be a little bit simple, but when I glued everything in the book, I really like how this looks. So far, I really like how these prompts turned out in the book, and I am quite excited for the next prompts. What I forgot to mention in this video is that I will create the prompts in the order, and I tried to use the art supplies which I already have depending on the prompt, and to show that I can create art with some cheaper art materials as well, and they look nice. And you can see that I use only printer paper to create some illustrations, and the results look quite decent in my opinion. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe for future art related videos. Let me know in the comment section which prompt is your favorite, if you have any favorites. And until next time, you can follow me on my social media accounts, which are linked in the description of the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.